live twice in one day. What is going on? An absolutely insane market today. We were just live covering off the fact that we spotted something. We saw that FTX were pausing withdrawals, and I knew something was going on, and we've now found out that Binance, yes, Binance, are going to acquire FTX in what is the ultimate checkmate. Guys, look at this. Someone posted this and I had to post this. CZ walking in with the sink like an OG. He goes and he buys FTX. This is an insane development, guys, and it goes to explain why earlier on today we were looking at the Ether scan and we were seeing no withdrawals were going out, and we knew that this meant FTX were in trouble. It makes complete sense now, and we were right. Don't let people tell you, oh, you're spreading FUD, oh, you're doing this. We've got to look after our bags, and if that means we take our money out of FTT and FTX because we see some rumors, great. Let's be safe. I'd rather be safe than sorry. I want my community to be safe than sorry. And this is good news. This is one of the best outcomes we could have seen here. Remember, like I said, even if you didn't like FTX, even if you didn't like FTT, if they were to go down, it would have taken a lot of projects with them. So the fact that CZ is able to jump in, we're going to cover off exactly what happened, what the implications could be. Guys, don't forget to smash the like if you appreciate me dropping everything at the notice and jumping straight onto a live stream with you guys. Then make sure you hit up that like button so more people can find this live stream. What a crazy day, and this is why we're in crypto, guys. This is exactly why we're in crypto. The news broke. Sam Bankman-Fried posting, hey, I have a few announcements to make. Things have come a full circle, and FTX.com's first and last investors are the same. We have come to an agreement on a strategic transaction with Binance for FTX.com pending due diligence, etc. Let's keep going because we need to read this in full. No skipping here, guys. We've got to see. Our teams are working on clearing out the withdrawal backlog because there is a backlog. This will clear out the liquidity crunches. All assets will be covered one-to-one. This is one of the main reasons we've asked Binance to come in. It may take a bit to settle, etc. We apologize for that. And this is what I said. If you were on my live stream earlier, what did I say? I used the analogy of if 100 people have given me $1 and they want to redeem it, but I no longer have the $100. I know I have a liquidity crunch. And the only person that knew were the people at FTX. They knew whether they had a liquidity crunch. They knew what they've done with the funds. And clearly they did not have enough funds to process the withdrawals. So all of that yesterday, which was, you know, the gamesmanship that he had to do, Sam Bankman-Fried, he posted, yeah, we're going to redeem the withdrawals. It's fine. We can cover them. Well, we've seen the reality, right? When the tide goes out, we see who's swimming without boxer shorts. And clearly FTX were one of those. Another victim of this deep bear market. But they're lucky that there was one bigger player, because if there was no other bigger player like Binance, this would have been a huge failing. Nobody would have been able to bail them out. Just like Sam Bankman-Fried was trying to bail out Voyager and Celsius, he wasn't in a position to do so, right? He was not in a position to do so. And now CZ will go and pick up the crumbs, penny on the dollar, and continue to grow the Binance empire. So very interesting. Let's keep reading through. The important thing is that customers are protected. Yeah, if it was so important to you, you would have had good risk management practices, but you didn't. So stop coming out with this garbage when we know this is garbage. How can you say that? Now it's okay, it's the most important thing, customer protected. It never was your priority. Otherwise, you would have always made sure that if $100 were deposited on FTX, you had $100 if somebody ever wanted to redeem it. You didn't have it. You didn't. Okay, stop fronting. You did not have it. A huge thank you to CZ, Binance. Like, these guys hated each other yesterday, but obviously business is business. Huge thank you to CZ, Binance, and all of our supporters. This is a user-centric development. He is absolutely relieved. There was nobody who would have been able to save him apart from CZ. And that is why this makes sense that yesterday, when he tweeted, he was like trying to say, oh, can we make love and not war? You know, he was trying to be very complimentary to CZ yesterday because he knew that was his only out. Okay, remember, guys, it does not affect FTX US or Binance US. Those are separate entities. And now let's go on to see what CZ's reaction was, because he posted saying, guys, this afternoon FTX asked for our help. There is a significant liquidity crunch. To protect users, we signed a non-binding letter of intent intending to fully acquire. This is not a partial acquisition. This is a full acquisition of FTX.com and help cover the liquidity crunch. We will be conducting a full due diligence in the coming days. And then obviously he comes and says, stay safe, as he always likes to say. There is a lot to cover and will take some time. It's a highly dynamic situation. We are assessing the situation in real time. Binance has the discretion to pull out. Binance has the discretion to pull out from the deal at any time. We expect FTT to be highly volatile in the coming days as things developed. Okay, guys, let's try to absorb what we've just seen, because this is insane. I mean, if we take a look here, Bitcoin has just immediately recovered, right? Bitcoin straight back to 20,300. This shows that that was what was weighing on the market. The market did not want the contagion effect, which we posted about earlier today, which would have frightened people, right? I don't think people were completely understanding, which is why I posted the video earlier, what an impact it could have had if FTX went down. It would have been huge. Terra Luna wouldn't have compared. Celsius nowhere near. Voyager nowhere near. This would have been horrific. And we're going to have to count the blessings that Binance and CZ were there to buy FTX. Now imagine what this must feel like for this guy today, to have to go knocking and begging on the door of his competitor, his number one rival CZ, to say, please acquire me. I done gone and messed up, right? I messed up. I got too greedy. I had to name the stadium. I had to pay influencers 10 figures a month plus to say sign up to FTX below. Right? He got too comfortable and he didn't have the assets to give back to you, which you were depositing in FTX. And I'm glad that we've managed to expose these guys. They face their liquidity issues and now we can move on. And this is the thing. I said, this is not about I told you so. But at the time of Terra Luna, we spoke about the fact that they're not the last ones. They were definitely not the last ones. And now you've seen the other victims. And I promise you, FTX are not the only ones facing the liquidity crunch. Other exchanges will be too. Because they all follow in these same patterns, make the same mistake, the same greed, same rehypothecation, same poor risk management. And so, this is just a matter of time. And a FUD run, like we saw on FTX over the last 48 hours, if that was run on any exchange, they would have struggled. Apart from maybe Binance. Any of the other ones, they would have struggled. And that is why I say none of these exchanges are safe, including Binance, right? Keep your assets diversified across them. Keep it safe. And that way you can navigate the market. So good news that they've come up with such a speedy resolutions, because on our live stream earlier, one of the questions you guys asked was, how long could this take to resolve itself? And it could have been weeks, right? We saw with the Celsius, FTX could have dragged this out for weeks and just slowly started redeeming some of the withdrawals, pausing for a bit, withdrawing, giving some of the withdrawals back, whilst in the background, they know for the $100 people have deposited into their platform, they've only got 50 left. Right, they know that they're in trouble. So it's good that they've managed. He's kind of admitted it earlier on. Well, now that he's got found out, he knocks on CZ's door. Can you help me? Good. Okay, so at least that's now been done. Let's see what happens, right? Because remember, this deal hasn't officially gone through yet. They've got to do due diligence. Binance can pull out at any time. They're going to want to find out what is the hole in the balance sheet. Just like Sam Bankman-Fried was knocking on everybody's door, Celsius and Voyager, Binance is going to have to do the same, right? They're going to have to look at the balance sheet. What is the hole? What is the damage? Can we save you? Blah, blah, blah. And then it's going to take a while. So let's see what's happening here. No doubt Bitcoin is recovering. We see Binance coin up 12%. What a monster. What a monster this Binance coin is. Insane. I mean, it shows strength even in the market. Regardless, that's its June lows there. It was in a nice trend even without this pump. And this just takes it even further. The rest of the market continues to be down, but pared back a lot of the losses from earlier on, which is impressive. Cardano is actually slightly green today. Binance outperforming Bitcoin by 14%, almost 15% here today, which is an impressive move. FTT continues to be down, but not as far down as it was just an hour or so ago. You can see it starting to wick back up. Let's put this on the hourly. You can see it starting to recover some of the losses given the announcement. But look, what do we learn from this? I think the thing we learn from this is that when people try to tell you that you're spreading FUD, go with your gut instinct, right? Research it. Understand what's going on. Ask yourself, what is the data showing me? And then follow that data. You always get these people. I mean, even when I posted the live stream earlier saying that they paused withdrawals, you know how many people were tweeting me or saying, no, stop spreading FUD because I can withdraw, when they were just receiving the email notification. They weren't receiving their full withdrawal. Right? So people don't even want to do the research. They don't want to go over to Etherscan or the equivalent on Tron or Solana blockchain to look at are there ins and outs going. So we knew something was going on and we preempted that this is what was happening. So congrats to you guys who was able to navigate it. This is a lesson in what to do in a bear market. You've got to stay safe. Self-survival is key in the bear market. The profits will come in a bull market, but you've got to survive to get there to take advantage of that. Guys, don't forget to smash up the likes if you appreciate these updates. Guys, let me know, what questions do you have? What are you feeling about this market? How are you feeling about it? Were you shocked? Were you surprised? Were you dismayed? How did you feel when this all went down? And did it catch you off guard, or were you expecting something? And if so, what were you expecting? Chibi and Choppy says, oh man. Let's see what your questions are. Vicky says, oh man. Adrian Ken with the thumbs up. Randy, insane day. So are they going to convert FTT to BNB? Good question. I don't think he'd want to do that. Maybe in the future he could be doing that. But immediately, I think he's going to want to... It's like a cancer, right? You want to isolate it and find out what are the root causes for it. And that's the risk for Binance and something they're going to have to analyze, right? Is do they want to risk going through that whole process? Do they want to go through that whole process of moving those assets across and potentially taking the contagion with them, or would they rather keep things separate? That's going to be the key. Ross says big companies can get in trouble. Yes, that's the risk for CZ. The last thing we need right now is for him to take a risky acquisition and bring that into the fold and potentially mess everything up, right? For Binance and for FTX. So he's got to do his due diligence. He's got to do his right homework. But at this point, there was no one else that could have acquired other than CZ. Absolutely nobody. There was nobody else that could have acquired other than CZ. So he had to save the day here. There was no one else that could have done that. Who else? Like, if you think about it, apart from companies outside of the space completely, nobody else could have acquired it. Martin says, we won. SBF is history. Ross Chapman says, agree. Quasi, oh man, Ijaz, how long do you think Binance's due diligence process cleanup will take? Due diligence normally takes quite long, actually. I won't be surprised if they drag this on for a bit. I think it can take a while. And there's going to be lots of ups and downs now. Remember when Sam Bankman-Fried was trying to buy Celsius and Voyager? Like, there's a lot of tire kicking, negotiating the price. Like, the deal would have been agreed in principle with a rough ballpark pricing and what it entails. But there's a lot more left to do. And we're going to find out over the next period here what that could look like. I mean, there's no pricing set here. We don't know anything that's going on. We just know that they're in a liquidity crunch. And when a company enters a liquidity crunch, it's a time-sensitive matter. Binance would have told them to pause your withdrawals. We want to see how much do you have, right? Just stop. Just stop. Let's count what you've got, and then let's reconcile. And that's what they did with Celsius, and they saw there was a $2 billion hold, right? And they're going to have to figure out the same for FTX. So it doesn't just mean that suddenly now, because he acquires them, everything is safe. No, they're going to have to analyze what is this hole. But at the same time, I think CZ would have seen and understood what that hole looks like. I think the other powerful thing that comes from this is it might negate the need for CZ to offload his FTT. So imagine that. Okay, imagine that. Imagine if he calls this offloading. We saw FTT fall hugely, right? Big fall down here to the downside of FTT token because CZ said, I'm going to sell my stake. He's not sold it yet, right? It's going to take a couple of weeks to sell it. So imagine he caused all of this to only then buy FTX and not actually sell the FTT token, because why is he going to want to put downward pressure on it if he owns it? So very, very interesting. Ash, do you think 20K level will hold? I think so, but this is going to be choppy, right? Some more negative news can come out, and then some positive news. We've got to monitor it. This is a developing situation, and we don't actually know the reality of it, the facts of it. More data could come out. We've got to stay tuned with this. Very important that we keep up to date with this stuff. Okay, so any clarity about buying terms and conditions? No. And is FTX out of danger? No, but it's a real positive step. So we've just found out two things, right? What have we just found out from this announcement? One, we found out that the smoke was true, right? FTX was in trouble because a couple of hours ago, nobody was admitting it, right? FTX is playing the front of we're fine, we're good, we'll welcome you back when the FUD is gone. Now we admitted that, look, everything we were covering over the last couple of days, it was right. CZ was selling for a reason. The balance sheet analysis, which got leaked, was right. Everything we were talking about was correct, right? There was smoke. There was smoke with fire. Then we found out that not only is that true, but we've now got a way of saving this, because the only way this would have been saved and not been a Celsius is if somebody can buy it. Just like how Celsius could have only been saved by FTX or Binance buying them, the only way that FTX could be saved is by Binance buying them, right? Unless Elon Musk fancies a crypto play or somebody else. Like, who else is going to buy this type of a company of that size? But now we need to find out what are the actual issues under the bonnet. So CZ will go under the bonnet, going to look, what is the hole in the balance sheet? Is it something we can cash flow you through? Right, whilst this FUD is here, we can give you a buffer zone. so that you can redeem all the withdrawals? Great stuff. Or is it something like Celsius where he's like, I don't want a piece of that? That is really badly run. Now, I think it's going to be resolvable because remember, CZ and Binance were invested in FTX up until last year. So it's only been a year that they've been out of the business. So I think he has a good, intimate understanding of the FTX business model and how they operate. So I'd be surprised if there's, if it's gone so far away from where he was expecting. Having said that, the bit I'm going to struggle to see how they reconcile is their differences in opinion. So for this to work, Sam would have to bow down to CZ, right? CZ is not happy with how Sam Bankman-Fried was trying to lobby the governments, how he's trying to lobby for regulation behind the backs of other crypto leaders, and that doesn't just fix itself overnight. And Sam Bankman-Fried is in no bargaining position right now. He has to agree to the terms from CZ, not just the financial terms, but the terms in terms of the respectability of you are the boss, right? You are the top G. You are the top G of the crypto space. That's going to be important. NASA, considering all this is happening, BTC is holding well. BTC is not only just holding well, it recovered, right? They're happy that Binance wants to do this. The market is responding well to the fact that Binance wants to come back. And that's why we're seeing some of this recovery here. When we were below 20,000, we've managed to get ourselves back above 20. Although some of it's starting to cool off now. You can just see we're getting rejected a little bit here from this level. So the initial hype was on this candle here. Now we're starting to see some of that wear down after 20,300. So we have to keep an eye on that. Average Joe, good to see you, buddy. Hope things are well. Any thoughts on Nexo? No, these are the type of platforms I'm very scared of. How does this affect the Voyager acquisition? Yes, important. It depends at what point in legals they're at. If Binance doesn't like the idea of buying Voyager, he could U-turn on that if contractually available. So that's a good question. We'll have to see how that plays out. The Twitter account or article that did the expose is gangster. Yes, absolutely. That's this one. That's Dirty Bubble Media. They were the same ones who did Celsius as well. They've done a really good job. Props to them on breaking this kind of news. Obviously, it was CoinDesk who broke the balance sheet originally. So credit to Coinbase for getting a hold of the Alameda balance sheet. Dylan says BNB will replace FTT. Rahesh says this is called Money Power. Do you have a chart format to document or write the cryptos for record? I'm not sure what you're asking there. Barney, busy day, buddy. Yes, absolutely. Got sore throat now. I've been talking too much. And I've got to go to training in a bit. So Dylan says Binance sell FTT. How is Binance US and FTX US affected? They're not affected, Lefty. So Binance US and FTX US are two completely separate subsidiaries. And so they're not part of this deal. This is Binance, the .com, the big Binance, and the big FTX going for an acquisition. So those two smaller businesses will carry on as per normal. FTX US will carry on as per normal. Quasi says Chinese monopoly on crypto now low-key, or am I fear-mongering? Well, you can see it how you want. I think that is a conversation to be had. Binance is one hell of a monopoly now. This is the equivalent of Microsoft. This is the equivalent of like Apple and Microsoft merging, right? Or something like that, or like Apple and Android merging, right? This is huge. So yeah, naturally, this is going to have some monopolistic effects on the market, which we have to navigate our way through. But more important is protecting user funds right now. The last thing you want is all the users on FTX to be affected, it to create a wide flee from crypto where nobody believes in crypto. Everybody's funds are lost, life savings are lost, and it's better that they save that. Tana Harris, what do you think Andre Cronje is working on now in FTM? I think he's working on the stablecoin FUSD, and I think he's working on a metaverse project. Lefty, good. RH, a format to write the buy price of cryptos. Do you have a format? No, but there's a bunch of different softwares you can use to do that. Or you can just use a spreadsheet. Dylan says you would need BNB to trade on FTX. Yeah, and I think there's going to be a whole bunch of synergies, right? There's so many exciting things if you're CZ. If you bought FTX, the number of things you could do. You could put a launch pad on there. You could do some of the great things that are working on Binance. You can push that across into FTX. But again, it brings in monopoly, right? It's more of a monopoly. It's less choice. I mean, even though I didn't use FTX, I think it was great that people had a choice. It was good to have another personality in Sam Bankman-Fried. But look, this business is business. If you make silly practices, if you do silly things, if you are irresponsible and insolvent, then these things happen. And you're just lucky at this point that somebody was able to save you at this point. Do I have any idea on UK government's relaxed mood on crypto? No, man. The West are not relaxed on crypto at all. Some of them will pretend to be relaxed. The US and where I am here in the UK, they're not relaxed on crypto. The only way they're going to be relaxed is if they can find a way to make money from it, but they want full control, full profit from it, and then they will help you do it. But those two things are, they cancel each other out. You can't have it both ways. You can't be pro-innovation and yet make it extremely tough for people to open up, spin up businesses. And that's why, you know, look at Binance and the jurisdictions, look at FTX or being over in the Bahamas. These are places which are allowing the entrepreneurs to be quick and move fast and do things. And obviously some entrepreneurs are taking that to their advantage, doing wrong things, and others are doing the right thing with it. Sam Designs, Ijaz, please share your intraday trading strategy. I don't spend that much time actively trading anymore. I do when there's certain patterns which I can't refuse, and I share that with you guys when we're doing our TA. But make sure you watch my TA course. Completely free, ijaz.uk/TA. And I share with you all the different pattern strategies I use. And when you kind of amalgamate all those different strategies, that's what I use. So I don't sit here. I mean, as a newbie, you can. I've made a video on it, $100 a day, how to make $100 a day trading crypto. Go watch that. If you're a complete newbie, it teaches you one strategy and how to use that one strategy. But when you become a little bit more experienced, you're kind of sitting there and waiting to see what the market gives you. The market might give me a descending triangle. The market might give me an ascending triangle. It might give me a head and shoulders pattern. It might give me a bounce off the EMA ribbon. I might see a doji candle. And if all of that, what I just said, doesn't make sense, then you need to watch the course, right? It's completely free. So go watch it. Yeah, guys, hit the like button. Make sure you're all hitting that like button. There's a bunch of you who are not hitting that like button, which I don't know why, because it doesn't cost you. And if you don't like the stream, you can kind of unlike it, I guess. That would be really sad. Alpha, does this mean no more leverage trading in the UK, seeing as FTX was the only big platform to still allow longer shorts in the UK? Potentially, but then still there's a bunch of people using VPNs, using non-KYC platforms to do that kind of stuff. People always find a way to do that, right? Shahid, good to see you, buddy. Lefty, I am in conversation with those guys, looking to find a way to get them onto the channel and show you guys some stuff. So that's in the works. Cool. Let's see if there's any update here from CZ before we wrap this up. Let's see. If you guys have any questions, do put them in the chat. Forbes, CZ is unlikely to win Miss Congeniality in 2022 in June. A Forbes study of exchange revenue finds that Binance's finances are basically, look, he's gloating already. Crazy. So CZ throwing stones at FTX, risk shattering his own windows. And you can see that he's the guy building. But again, I want to be the first to say it. And I want to say it in his moment of glory. I'm going to let CZ have his moment. But as a reminder for all of you in the crypto space, please not put anybody on a pedestal. There's no need to. No need to. Right? Yes, he can be the number one exchange. Do not put him on a pedestal. Last thing I want for you guys, put all your money on Binance and then for them to be doing the same stuff as well. So I don't trust anybody. I just live life like this in the crypto space, completely just paranoid, right? Expecting the worst from everybody. That way I can only be positively surprised if they actually do some decent risk management. I think that's the best way to kind of navigate this space. Let's see if Sam Bankman-Fried has posted anything as well. He's not added anything here, so perfect. So we're all up to date on that. Let's see what you guys have in the chat. Quasi, when are you going to do more side hustle, business, acumen, entrepreneurship content like you previously did? Probably on another channel in the future at some point. I want to keep this all for crypto stuff. If you guys want more of that stuff, let me know. And maybe we can do some more of that sort of stuff. Yeah, I do have startups. I do have real estate. I have other bits and pieces going on. Happy to give you guys some insight. FT Suite. Red post here, will this lead to a market rebound? I think we've had the rebound. We've got the rebound there, but it's kind of rebounding off of the rebound. So it's kind of rebounded powerfully. Now it's calling back off. So it needs to just find its level here. Still going to be super dynamic. I wouldn't be trading. Well, I'm not trading anything right now. It's just a bit too volatile and no clear direction. One tweet can change everything. So we've got to be very, very careful. Do I think Solana will go down any further? Yeah, potentially. Look, I don't think they're out of the mud. I don't think FTX are out of the mud, so I'm not expecting something crazy from them. They're still 10% down on the day, and just because Binance are acquiring them doesn't change everything immediately. It just means that things hopefully won't go down that catastrophic route which we previously had, right? Ultimate Chicken, yep, CZ saves the day. You said that right. He walked in with the sink. Bunch of people saying if you want to use leverage, use GNS, GMX, decentralized. A lot of people are saying that now, right? Obviously, when you get such a famous exchange kind of going through difficulties, having a liquidity crunch, a lot more people are then voting for the idea of going for a decentralized exchange, which I guess makes sense to an extent. But there's a lot of benefits of trading on a centralized exchange as well, which is why I understand why people want to do it. Tanner Harris, compared to previous bear markets, how does this one compare? This one feels a lot worse. And I think the reason people are not understanding is Bitcoin hasn't been through a severe financial tightening period. And even our whole generation, right? So our whole generation has not been for a significant tightening period of monetary policy. So we're in this active period where the last run-up was fueled by, obviously, the pandemic, with huge amounts of printing. Now we've got a reduction of printing, huge pullback on liquidity. Again, Jerome Powell hoovering up this money from the economy, which he just freely left to flow. And so this bear market's been a lot harder, and that's why we're seeing companies struggle. So the narrative has less been about huge hacks and things like that, like Mt. Gox, but it's been more around the fact that people are just insolvent, and that's what's wiping people out, right? All of these would have been fine in a accommodative monetary policy. Luna wouldn't have collapsed, Celsius would have been fine, Voyager would have been fine. And I guess the question we have to ask ourselves is, do we want to just band-aid over it, or are we happy that we kind of corrected and we'd be better off for the long term with more stronger outfits who can survive the next few decades? And I think if we love crypto and we believe in crypto over the long run, then we would want the latter, right? We want this to exercise muscle, to make us stronger as an industry, to have better players, to have stronger exchanges, to have stronger platforms to navigate through the next bull run. We were already overbought on 2 days for Bitcoin, proper short covering. Yeah, a bunch of shorts will be covering after that positive news, but again, it just affects volatility. There's going to be a bunch of traders trading this because it's just tweet-worthy news, right? And there's going to be updates. No doubt by tomorrow we'll hear something else about it. And but the headline is this. The headline is that we were right. And let's not forget that, right? It's easy to jump onto what's going to happen next. We've got to remember that we were right. We called this. We said that there was smoke. There was issues here. And a lot of people said we were spreading FUD. But the reality of the situation was we weren't. So moral of the story is, don't let these people sitting on Twitter, because you get fanboys for every project, right? So when you have that hunch that something's going on with a project or something that you're invested in, follow your gut instincts, do the research like we did, look at the balance sheet, try to make informed decisions, do the safe thing, like take your money on FTX. There was no harm in taking your money off. And then if he was solvent, he would have proved it. But clearly he wasn't. He's in a liquidity crunch. He needs someone to bail him out and help him. And so he turns to CZ to go do that. CZ will be lapping that all up, getting it pennies on the dollar, buying his next biggest competitor, creating more of a monopoly. So CZ has done if he completes his transaction, has had the most productive bear market of anybody, right? To be buying FTX during a bear market. Just go back 3, 4, 5 months ago, FTX couldn't do any wrong. Naming stadiums, sponsoring Tom Brady, like they were on top of the world as far as the Western side have gone. You know, he was trying to propose the DeFi regulations. He was paying politicians. So, you know, this is huge, and just goes to show how big a job Binance are doing just by getting their fundamentals right, making sure they've taken care of themselves. But again, don't put Binance on a pedestal just yet. Hold back, be diversified in your investments, and that's the best way to navigate this. I'll take a few more questions and I'll jump off. UK Star, excellent conversation. Appreciate you, buddy. Guys, please do hit up like on the way out. You guys are not here to like, taking the mic. If you don't hit the like, you're just going to get more like, I don't know, crypto videos or Carl Moon videos. If you want to be suggested, that's fine. But you should hit the like one. Sean, Ijaz, do you think the Dixie is having a breakdown? Yes, and it's an exciting point. I mean, we've not looked at the Dixie for a little while, actually. Yeah, we have done so with our course members, which if you want to join, ijaz.uk/member. But the dollar index is really exciting, right? Because we're starting to see that it is getting this breakdown. Exactly as we said, right? Retest, boom. I love leaving my diagrams on so you guys can see it. Now again, go back up, create a lower high, fall to the downside. This is what we want to see. And if we bring out the EMA ribbon, this is good. Go create that lower low like it's literally just done right now is amazing. Now keep going. And if you can have a significant number of days to the downside, markets can rally. And as long as crypto doesn't have any of this FTX nonsense, crypto should be running today, right? Crypto should be running today, just like we're seeing green in the markets, 1.45 on the NASDAQ, S&P up 1.2. They're running, right? They're running despite the midterm elections going on so far. They're waiting for the results. They're excited. And that's why the dollar index is falling as well. So yeah, we do need to see this continue to follow my line in order for us to be in a nice sustained move to the downside. Gareth, thanks guys. Admire your effort as always. Appreciate you, buddy. Please do hit up that like button. Lefty, so Coinbase number 2. Yes, Coinbase is still up there. Grid, so what does this mean with my Voyager case? What the hell is going on? You're going to have to follow that through, buddy. Again, if the transaction goes through, then Binance owns FTX. Binance, depending on where you're at contractually, whether FTX has to commit to the Voyager acquisition or whether Binance can U-turn, that's going to have to play out. I'll try to cover that off as we get more data. Hunter Sherman, maybe FTX should have let Voyager fail. I don't understand how they can flip so quickly. And this is the other thing we don't know. We don't know. I guess it'll come out in the wash. We don't know whether FTX were already insolvent when they're actually trying to front and buy Voyager and Celsius and these guys. Was he trying to buy them to cover up some further weakness? Or did they cause the weakness? Did he buy something cancerous like an FTX and Voyager that started causing issues? I think it's the former. I think he had bad practices going into it. And I think that liquidity crisis has caught up to him in a very long bear market, going into more pain with more tightening from the FOMC. A lot of people thought we would have been out by now. And this is where you're going to see more companies start to struggle, because a lot of people were betting on Q4 2022, which is where we're in right now, that the Fed would have started pivoting. So now that we got this more extended period going into Q1 and Q2 next year, you're going to see a lot more companies struggling and needing some help, let's say. Cool, guys. I think we'll jump off. We'll leave that there. Thank you for supporting the channel. Don't forget to hit up the like button if you appreciate this type of content. If you like these live streams, let me know. Otherwise, we'll catch up in the videos tomorrow. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.